Hey crafters, this is Mai here. So today what we are going to do is we are going to create this cute little thinking of you card. Now, as you can see, I have all of the pieces here. I've cut them all out. I have them just kind of stacked up and lined up here in the order that I need to assemble them. And I also have my envelope layer here. I decided to cut this one in a bright color. I went with yellow just to kind of make it a little bit more fun, and it kind of complements the blue here that I did for most of my, the base of my card. So let's go ahead and let's get started with our assembly. So I just put the envelope layer off to the side. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of the gluing. I have my bone folder handy, and today we're also going to need our tweezers. So I've got these handy to start, and we are going to start with our glue. And so what we are going to do is we're actually going to kind of glue down some of these smaller pieces here first before we start gluing the larger pieces, just to make sure that we don't lose them here on the table. All right, so I'm just trying to think it through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up some of these pieces here. So that's the bear's kind of like paws that are kind of hanging over onto the banner. And I'm going to move some of my wording here. And this was a little bit tricky to cut because it was just really thin, and it was definitely a little bit more harder to get off of the mat because it's tiny and it's thin, and it just was a little tricky. So I've got my tweezers here. I've picked it up with my tweezers. I'm going to just add a little bit of glue now to the back. And so hopefully you can kind of see, like, this is really just a little bit of glue that I'm adding here. I'm not going to go crazy because I don't want a lot of it to seep through, but I do want to kind of make sure that I'm getting all of the area of the words or the letters there to just kind of make sure that they will adhere. And so I'm just going to kind of place this one down right about here, and then just tap it into the right spot. Okay. Now, before I go and do the of in the center, I'm going to go ahead and glue down the U, because that's the next biggest piece here. And I want to kind of make sure that I have some spacing that is going well here, and that I don't have it all squished together, or I didn't add enough room. That would not be fun there. And so I'm just going to press this down right about there, and that looks good. And that one has a little bit of seeping, but it's okay. All right, now I'm going to do the center word, which is of. And again, you can see I'm just being really careful as I'm holding this here with my tweezers, and I'm really just very little bit of glue as I'm pressing it down here. And then there we go. And that's probably going to be the trickiest part, only because, like I said, that wording there is just tiny and hard to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add his paws, because that's also going to be kind of important here. And then I'm going to place this down right at the corner here, where this part of the banner is at the edge. And then I'm just going to press and hold, and you can even see that my paws have kind of come a little bit over here onto the T part of the word thinking. That's okay too. It's fine just the way it is. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do here is I'm going to actually work on these flowers. So I'm going to lift these up here, and these are going to require a couple of steps here. So I'm going to take away the dots here in the center, and I'm just going to add glue right in the center where those dots were, which is just which is just going to be the center part here of the flower. And then I'm just using my push pin to pick up the pieces that I moved, and it's letting me press it down right in the center. Now, I think that we should add a little bit of detail here to the flowers. And so what I'm going to do is, if you've got like a fountain pen, or if you have a, ooh, I lost the lid to this one. That one's a 5 though. If you've got like a micron pen here, let's see, I'm looking for like a 1. And of course, it's probably going to be the last one. There we go. So this is like a 1, which means that it is very thin. It's got a really thin point. Or if you've got a fountain pen, then we want to use this. We're just going to add some details to the flowers here. Like just kind of those details that would come out into the petals. And so I'm going to use my fountain pen only because this one's going to be a little bit thinner. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of draw some lines to make sure that my ink is flowing here. Hopefully I'm still in the camera, but you can see right there. And that's all I'm going to do is with these flowers here, I'm just going to kind of just add a little bit of detail right here into the flower center. And it's just going to just add, you know, like I said, detail, a little bit of realism to this here. And if you want, you could take yours an extra step further and you could even add some inking along the edges here to the flower. That would be just really pretty as well. And it would just really kind of just add a little bit something more. And that's really it. Like just that little bit will be enough to kind of change the look of this card here. So now I'm just adding glue now to the back. And I'm going to press this one down and we're going to glue these right on top of each other. And I know it's going to seem a little counterintuitive because normally we would have a layer for each color, but because these are so tiny and because this is already going to be slightly heavy with the layers that are going to just make the card, we're just going to do it this way and just press these down one right on top of the other. And you can see already it just adds a little bit something more. It makes it look more than it's just, you know, cardstock. All right. So there we go. All right. So let's now work with the face of our bear here. And again, these are just smaller layers. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of hold some of these here and just add a little bit of glue to these pieces here. And hopefully I'm still, again, in the camera. I'm working a little bit higher than I feel like I normally would. And so let me just bring this down here a little bit more. That one had some glue that seeped out there along the edge. Let's glue this one this way. And I'm just going to press it down right there. I'm going to do the same thing here with kind of like the nose and the mouth there with his kind of patch of his skin. And then again, just pressing this down as well, kind of right there in the center. And now once you have the larger pieces, then you can just go ahead and add glue to the back. And then, so our bear is kind of tilted off a little bit to the side because he's holding the flowers. And so he's kind of looking around the flowers that he's holding at you. And so we do kind of want to make sure that we kind of tilt his facial expression as well, because he himself is actually meant to be tilted a little. So I just did that on an angle there. I'm just going to add a dab here for his eyes. And then I'm going to use my push pin again and just press the eyes down. And that looks great. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to do, we've got all of our smaller pieces glued. Let me move my pens back here just a second. I've got my little container right here. All right, so like I said, we're ready now to just really kind of work with all of the larger pieces here. And so you can see I can lift this up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift all of these layers here, and I'm going to flip them over, and I'm going to take this layer, this back layer, and I'm going to begin to glue them down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue everywhere along the back. And just kind of making sure that I get some of the smaller pieces. And we now have this back layer here, and you can see my score line that's going right across that we added when we were cutting. And I'm going to make sure that this lines up right where that score line is and right along the edge, just like that. And I'm going to press it down. And so you can still see my score line is a little bit right there. And the next thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to now just kind of bend right on that score line. And you can see it right there. And now I'm going to take my bone folder and just run it right along there to make sure that that crease is really sharp. Okay. And that looks good. And you can see it now here on this side, like it's flush and it's perfect. All right. So once we have that going and it's bent, we are now ready to just kind of go through. And I've got some little pieces here. You can see they didn't come up when I took it off the mat. So they're just little tiny pieces that kind of really will add a little bit of dimension there to our design. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue to just layer these pieces onto the front, okay? So I'll speed up the video here as I'm doing that, because it's all going to be the same thing, just adding glue to the back of the layer that is above and then pressing it down, okay? So I'll speed up the video now. Okay, so when I glued this down, I glued my bare hands to the yellow, and so the yellow layer and this blue layer are sticking together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go through and just add glue to the back of this blue layer, just some of these little pieces here, or the little sides, I should say, and just kind of working my way around. I guess I didn't totally think that one through. And so you can see that I'm just going to add it there. And for the most part, it will actually just be fine. That was kind of funny. All right. And so since I stopped the video, we'll just walk through this last little bit here. And so again, once more, you can see that I'm just adding the glue now to the back of the yellow layer. And then I'm going to press this down. And this is one where like you could really, change some of your colors here. You could add some shimmer cardstock. I don't know if I would do any glitter, because the glitter is going to be really thick unless it's like that top layer there. But you could add some shimmer like to some of these, like maybe for the bear or even for this part of the banner. Shimmer would look really pretty there. And it would just kind of add that sparkle, or even some foil cardstock would work. That's a good one too. Okay, so I'm just going to add this part now, which is just finishing it off. And there we go. So that looks really cute. We've just kind of created this card front here. And just want to make sure that it's good to go. And there you go. You've got like a freestanding card that you've created, that you can gift to someone. You can write whatever sentiment it is that you want on the inside, thinking of you. Maybe they're sick, or maybe it's just because, like you're thinking of them. They mean something to you. And so you're thinking of them. So that would be a fun little card for them to receive. Okay. So let's do the envelope now. You can see that I have got my envelope layer here, and I have my score lines facing up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold on all of these score lines. I'm going to use my bone folder here. I know I'm kind of talking a little bit faster now, because I don't want the video to be forever for you guys. And so I'm just folding here along all of these 4 lines. I'm using my bone folder, like I said, just to make sure that those lines are crisp. And I'm going to do this top part here as well. And once we have it there, now we're going to take this part here and we're just going to press it down like this. And you can see that there's just a little bit at the top part here that's sticking out, and that's okay. I'm going to put my finger right about there just to kind of keep that in mind. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add glue all the way along these tabs. And like I said, I've got my finger there just to kind of, you know, kind of keep that in mind so I don't go crazy adding glue to everywhere. And then I'm just going to press this down. And let me just push this part right there. And I'm going to press it down, press this part down. And there we go. Okay. And then just pressing it down to really seal it. If you wanted to, you could use maybe like a different glue for the envelope just to kind of make sure that it's sealed. What you might want to use here in the lip part of the envelope is maybe double-sided tape. I don't know, it's really up to you. And then you can take your card, you can press it in here. It's a little bit on the thicker side for sure. And you can press it right in there, and I just kind of push mine down, and then you can seal it up. You can address it, stamp it, and you're good to go to mail it off. All right, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. See, it's a little bit on the thicker side, and I just added the glue, but there we go. And there you go. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you have fun crafting. Thanks for watching. Bye now.